Hello, 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 hello. What is happening, my friends? Welcome to another great episode of the Arrington Gavin Show, your go-to spot for sharp insights, bold opinions, and unfiltered takes on the biggest stories of the day, whether it's politics, sports, pop culture, or the latest buzz. Look, here on this show, we dive deep and keep it real. We always keep it real. So do me a favor, kick back, stay informed, and get ready to join the conversation. My friends, how is everyone doing today? Thank you so much for taking the time, as always, out of your busy schedule to tune into the Arrington Gavin Show. We are a growing, and I do mean a growing platform. We are an award-winning show, by the way. I don't know how many times I have to repeat it. As you know, last year in 2024, we were honored with Best Podcast at the Blensville Awards, and I'm very honored to continue to hold that. I'm going to get some shells and place it back there so y'all can always remember. Y'all never forget it. But no, very honored and just blessed because we are a growing show, and I try to do my best to give you great content and not bore you guys. Just simply just having a conversation. Something that I think we all could use, and we're just missing is that conversation culture. We're too much bashing each other, in debates and with this and that, and it's just like it's a lot of sadness in the world, and not a lot of not a lot of peace, not a lot of love, not a lot of compassion, and not a lot of unity. So this is just a show where we try to give you all of that in 1 hour, which we will try our best to do that. On today's show, I'm going to continue on what I left off from the last episode. Excuse me. Talking about the whole blame game from the Republican Party, as well as our 47th president Donald Trump, with the whole after the recent attacks that occurred on New Year's Eve in New Orleans, as well as in Las Vegas. I'll share like a part two with that because I didn't have too much time to talk about on the last episode. And then if we have some time, I want to also bring up former NBA star Dwight Howard, sharing his opinion on child support. That will be very interesting. And we have a few other stories that we're going to be bringing up. So again, kick back, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Y'all, look, new episodes of the Arrington Gavin Show drops Monday through Friday. All right, weeknights, available on all digital and streaming platforms. So wherever you get your podcast, you can tune in to the Arrington Gavin Show. You can also tune into the program on streaming platforms via streaming platforms of YouTube and Rumble. Okay, our YouTube channel is the Arrington Gavin Show, as well as on Rumble at the Arrington Gavin Show. So multiple ways you can watch us. You can also listen to us through our radio affiliate out of the Metro Atlanta area, WDJY 99.1 FM. Straight Talk. That's right, out of the Metro Atlanta area. We air Monday through Fridays at 11 p.m. on that station out there, as well as online. And yep, I think that's everything. I think I've mentioned everything. How you can stay informed, stay up to speed with the show. Before I move forward, I do have to thank some of our proud supporters of the Arrington Gavin Show, like our friends over at Ingenious Gin. That is right. Ingenious Gin. This amazing rose gold complexion gin. With the original, with the original spin, with the spin of the original gin, excuse me. Looking for a spirit as bold and refined as you? Introducing Ingenious Gin, crafted with precision, infused with exotic botanicals, and balanced for the perfect sip every time. Whether you're savoring it neat, mixing the ultimate gin and tonic, or shaking up a classic cocktail, Ingenious Gin is your ticket to a moment of pure sophistication. Experience ingenuity in every drop. Find Ingenious Gin at your favorite store or online today. Ingenious Gin, the gin for thinkers. Do me a favor, my friends. Please drink responsibly. All right, my friends. We want to thank Ingenious for being a proud supporter of the Arrington Gavin Show. We are going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll have more here on the Arrington Gavin Show. Of course, we're going to start off with our fun facts of the day, our tradition we like to do here on this program. And then we're going to get it going with some stories and some topics. So do not go anywhere. You are listening to the Arrington Gavin Show. We will be right back.
You know, just like a winning team evolves throughout the season, so does your beard. I'm Arrington Gavin, proud CEO of Rugged Evolution Beard Care. With our premium oils, balms, and grooming tools, it's everything you need to level up your beard game. Whether you're a seasoned pro or a rookie, Rugged Evolution is the new smooth. Order now and dominate the beard game like never before. Rugged Evolution Beard Care, because every beard deserves to be legendary.
And that is right. Every beard deserves to be legendary. That is very true, my friends. Hey, remember, Rugged is the new smooth. Look, check them out. RuggedEvo.com, www.ruggedevo.com. They have all the amazing products to help keep your facial hair care on point. Let's get it going, y'all, with a tradition here on the show. Yes, right. Fun fact of the day. So, on today's fun fact, did you guys know that the electric chair was invented by a dentist? Did you know? Did you know? Hate to kind of get a little dark there with this. Like, geez, Arrington, we were having so much fun. Now you're gonna talk about the electric chair? Why? Because look, regardless, we always have to throw out a fun fact that maybe a lot of you never knew, was always curious and just never took the time to research it. Hey, look, no worries. I got you. Says here that the gentleman who created the electric chair, his name was Alfred P. Southwick, a dentist and inventor from Buffalo, New York, is credited with inventing the electric chair as a method of lethal execution. Whew, that's a little dark there, Doc. I mean, I had an issue with my crown. Just came in to check the bowlers. Why are you over here creating stuff to, how to easily take a life away? Like, goodness gracious. Says here that Southwick first developed the idea of using electricity for the death penalty in 1881. He then conducted experiments with hundreds of stray dogs to develop a repeatable method for euthanizing animals using electricity. Wow. Says here that was adopted in New York, became the first state to adopt the electric chair as a method of capital punishment in January 1st of 1889. Then a gentleman by the name of William Kelmer became the first person. Wow. I won't continue that, but that was our fun fact. You're welcome. We're gonna get it going with our with some more of our stories that we didn't finish last show. So as I left off our last program, I wanted to talk a little more of why in the world is Donald Trump, once again, as well as his minions, the Republicans, those diehard Trumpers, his loyalists, why are they playing the blame game after after these recent attacks over in New Orleans and what was the other area? New Orleans and Las Vegas. And so I wanted to let me read you this article. This is reported by the the Hill. It says here that Trump blames open borders for New Orleans and Las Vegas attacks. It says here that President Donald Trump blamed the situation at the southern border for the recent attacks in New Orleans and Las Vegas, railing against President Biden for his immigration policies as both cases are being investigated. Now, the man who plowed a pickup truck into a crowd in New Orleans, killing at least 15 people, has been identified as Shamshud D. Jabbar, a U.S. citizen from Texas. I'll say it again, a U.S. citizen from Texas. The Cybertruck explosion outside the Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas was caused by firework motors and camp fuel canisters. And the suspect was an Army veteran from Colorado, according to local news reports. Still, Trump railed on True Social that the border under Biden has led to violent crime. Guys, this is my issue. This is what I've been talking about so many times. Why is it always, you see, this is what I'm talking about? Like, they're the issue, they're the problem, all right? They're the cause of all this chaos, the border. Like, dude, can you turn down the 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 childlike mindset of you of yours? Can you just, I don't know, can you put it on smart for just maybe 5 minutes, please? Like, why in the world does this man who is damn near 80, all right, relies on the magic fingers of social media and says, see, I told you, like, rather than saying, prayers go out to the families. We're gonna do our best to, to investigate, see, get down to the issue. This is sad that this occurs in our country. Look, bad people exist in our country. We have bad, we have good. That's the word. We, of course, it's going to be a long investigation of seeing what is the real reason behind this, and it's probably gonna have some furthermore info reporting on. But to just go ahead and say, see, going back to your, going back to the political side of it, no, you have to stop. When this is a moment where communities were coming together just to like console one another, be like, hey, look, we have your back. Like, we got to come together. We win in numbers. No, let's continue the divisiveness. Let's continue to spread out those. Oh, are people trying to get closer together? No, we got to ruin it. So let me go ahead and let me tweet this. Let me put this on Truth Social. I still think it's hilarious that it's called Truth Social. Like he's always he's a truthful person. That's woo. That is funny. That is some funny stuff. Well, let me go ahead and in his quote that he put, he said, with the Biden open border policy, I said many times during rallies and elsewhere, the radicals, Islamic terrorism, and other forms of violent crime will become bad in America. That it will become hard to even imagine or believe. Give me a break, dude. Give me a break. He then goes on to say, that time has come only worse than ever imagined. Joe Biden is the worst president in history of America, a complete and total disaster. What he and his group of election interfering thugs have done to our country will not soon be forgotten. MAGA, like, just the man needs some help. Everybody was busy, talking about, Biden's confused. He look confused. Like, can we please call balls and strikes here? Well, can we play it fair? No one in the Republican Party has criticized their president Donald Trump, their fearless leader. No, what do? They continue to share the narrative, spread that misinformation, spread that nonsense, and continue increasing and pouring, fuel on that fire of separation, of division. So again, calling yourself the party of unity, calling this president the president of unity, he's bringing America back together. It's a bunch of hogwash. Let me go ahead and play this soundbite. This is Fox News Jessica Tarlov. She is a co-host on the actually their highest rated show called The Five. She is their only liberal. Well, there's two liberals that rotate. I believe the gentleman's name is Harold Ford. Yeah, Harold Ford, I believe his name is Lord have mercy. I believe that is his name. He's a former Democratic congressman. But let me go ahead. Jessica's really like the fan favorite liberal on there because she is not scared for a fight. Let me tell you something. She does not mess around. She doesn't hold her tongue. And here she is right here giving her opinion on, just reaction of Trump and the Republicans continuing on this nonsense on the whole blaming game.
And the right facts were that the guy in New Orleans was an American. He wasn't an illegal.
Nobody's saying he wasn't.
That's not true. That's not true. There have been Republicans who have been on TV today talking about how this is an open border.
I'll call them myself.
You call them. But it's an open border
not
problem.
Mutually exclusive. That's not a mutually exclusive problem. You can have someone who's homegrown,
but you know
radicalized,
what they're trying to do? They're trying to conflate it. They're trying to make it out to be that it is a demonization
Both things can happen at the same time.
Undocumented people. That's what it was supposed to be. That's why you talked about it going to.
And
these aren't undocumented people. These are Americans.
75% of the arrests in New York City are illegals. Let's stop playing games.
Move the goalposts. Move them as far as you want. Sugar Bowl wide. Whatever.
Coming up. Major safety concerns across the U.S.
I mean, good job, Jessica. That's all I can say is like, Jessica, you do it, girl. The funny thing is, did you hear what Judge Janine was responding with? There's a bunch of illegals in New York City. And again, maybe they were hard of hearing. Jessica said, U.S. born citizens, they're Americans. So why is this whole border issue why is this even in this? Why is he bringing this into this issue? Why is he bringing in this conversation? He shouldn't. I mean, once again, when the opposing side, where Trump supporters, when they get pushed against the wall in the corner, they start pulling out these nonsense just nonsense talking points. They're all talking points, which means none of it ever makes sense. None of it is true. It's just a way to keep a back and forth conversation to make them feel better. Because if you don't respond with anything that's like, oh, this is a loss. I mean, it's ridiculous, man. It truly is ridiculous. Again, there is more being investigated with this case. It's disgusting. Again, both of them. I think one was an active in the Army. Another one had served in the Army. I go back to saying one was from Colorado, another one was from Texas. U.S. born citizens. Again, it's Lordy have mercy. That's all I gotta say. Is it's hilarious. That's all I can say. It is hilarious. But let me go ahead, digress from that. Let me finish that part 2 of that story, and let's talk on some other stuff. Let's go ahead and let me move it on to former NBA star Dwight Howard. Man, let me tell you something about this guy. This guy never disappoints. I tell you, he really never disappoints. So recently, he was on a podcast or some show, responding to his ex Royce Reed, who I mentioned. She's a former reality TV star. She was a cast member on the show Basketball Wives, which again, I'm like, she was never a wife. She just had, she was the mother of a child that she had with Dwight Howard. But hey, that's good enough. That'll get you put on the show. She was seeking around $200,000 a month in child support. Now, and maybe even more. says here Howard disclosed that he provided Reed with $200,000 payments when their son was young, which she allegedly used to fund her personal endeavors. And I quote, he says, "So my son's mom, that was $13,000 a month, 13,000 a month from the time my son was born." All right. A while back we talked about child support due to a viral video of comedian TK Kirkland. He was on a podcast where this girl was truly trying to you know thinking, I guess she wanted to have a clickbait clip on her show, because she was coming at him so aggressive after he responded by saying, "I don't pay child support." You know how TK Kirk, "I don't pay child support." "I don't pay child support." He was like, because he's like, "I take care of my babies." I said, I don't pay child support." She's like, "Why not?" He said, "Because my baby mothers, the mothers of my child, they got their stuff together. Like, I don't pay child support." He said, "But I take care of my babies." So you start to bring the definition of, okay, what truly is child support? What's your definition of child support? What does that consist in? Does that consist in making sure, your child has clothes, making sure, your child has, food, make sure he's taken care? Like, are you the sole provider for your child? Is it a joint thing? Is it money that you give to the partner that you've had that child with, and it's in charge of her or him to divide and how to spend that? Like, what is really child support? Now, see, in the entertainment world, child support is seen as a easy money grabber for the exes, right? That's the easy salary. I mean, it's you have folks that will live off of child support, and that their child might not even see any of that money. They treat child support, in my opinion, like they do spousal support. Now, I think it's different now. So, say for example, I'll use a perfect one. Dr. Dre and his ex-wife, they were married, I believe, over 25 years. She ended up receiving a huge, per month in spousal support. Spousal support, and I'm no attorney. Actually, let me go ahead and let me see if I can give you the proper definition just of spousal support. So, let's see. Okay, so spousal support, also known as alimony or maintenance, is a financial payment one spouse may be required to make the other following divorce or legal separation. All of a sudden I got something in my eye while I'm trying to read this. My apologies, my friends. The purpose of spousal support is to help the recipient spouse maintain a standard of living similar to what they enjoyed during their marriage, or to provide temporary financial assistance as the transition to financial independence. So, so many people have different opinions on spousal support. I guess it always depends on what position you're in, what position you're in as far as in that divorce. But a lot of folks will say, "Oh, that's unfair. I think that's an easy money grabber." Some folks will be like, "No, that that spouse, man or woman, they deserve to get all that money." That is true. But when it comes to child support is a little different. So that was the definition I just gave you on spousal support. So let me give you the proper definition of child support. So, child support, a legal obligation requiring one or both parents to provide financial assistance for the upbringing and care of their child or children. It ensures it ensures the children's basic needs, such as food, clothing, shelter, healthcare, and education, are met, even if the parents are separated, divorced, or never married. All right. Everything I just read, that goes to the child. All right, that goes to the child. Now, the silly thing is you never know where that, I mean, you know if the child is young. So if you're divorced and you got to pay child support to to your spouse, and your child is like 5 years old, obviously that kid is not handling the money on its own. Their parent handles it. They get with a accountant or whoever professional, and they take care of that. So going back, TK Kirkland, he was defending himself, and he made a perfect example, because see, the lady kept on saying, well, do you pay for her gas? It's like, where are we going with this? Are we paying is his child support paying for her personal needs or the child? Because he said, I take care of my baby. See, here's the thing, people really don't know how intelligent, for true fans and people in the comedy world, they know how smart and intelligent TK Kirkland is. I've been to one of his stand-up shows. Phenomenal comedian, phenomenal show. Loyal guy, very humble, but smart as hell. He is so smart. And so he, through so many, just tidbits that you have to just like always remember or put in your hip pocket, and just keep that for, because it's like a great business advice. So now fast forward that to Mr. Dwight Howard. Let me go ahead and find that soundbite for you. He was on a show, and I'm not gonna play the full clip because it is some foul language towards the end of the video, but let me go ahead and play you guys that.
You get child support money, it's tax-free. Tax-free, which means if that says you're getting $12,000 a month, you're really getting $12,000 a month. It's no taxes coming out of there. I get taxed
on the money.
So guess what? When they tax me first, and I give that money that's already taxed to them, tax-free. They get everything. So my son's mom, that was $13,000 a month from the time my son was born. Let's do the math on that.
I'm gonna do it right now. Why you talking? Hold on.
I'm
gonna do it right.
So basically, that's the soundbite of similar to what I just read earlier. To put it more into read more details, this is reported by essentially sports.com. Says here that Dwight Howard urges ex to use son for financial aid after spending $2.4 million on child support. Now, it says here that Dwight Howard wants to do parenting right. Back in time when his son Braylon Howard called him out for being absent, the basketball legend chose silence. An episode of Gil's Arena's podcast, the podcast star admitted that he would like to give more time to his kids following his retirement. So this time he didn't choose silence. When accused of not providing enough financial support to his kids' mother, Howard suggested his new request for his kids. In response to his ex, Royce Reed's accusations, Howard clarified that he had paid around $13,000 a month, as he mentioned earlier, and he had recently stopped paying that child support amount. Till now, he has paid more than $2.4 million for his one child. Now, I don't know if y'all remember me telling you this, but I think Dwight has like 6 kids by 6 different women. Man got a lot of kids. Man got a lot of kids. He got a lot of kids. Speaking of his son, Howard expressed how Braylon has the spirit and talent genes of both him and his mother. The NBA All-Star pressed on his son can play sports, dance, or take up any other business. He argued that his son's mother should put more focus on the child and help him grow so that he can in turn take care of her. It says here, just a month ago, the former NBA star Dwight Howard revealed that he got engaged, which that was last year, to American rapper Amy Luciani, and along with it came other Reed's allegations, which to me is petty. I mean, this lady she probably was always blasting him privately and in conversation, but all of a sudden when she see that he found love again and it's not her, now okay, this is the time to blast and share my true thoughts, and she just blast a guy on social media. First of all, I don't like anybody to blast anybody on social media. I think it's childish. I think it's extremely petty. If you have an issue with somebody, say it to their face, say it up front. Don't do it behind a screen. That to me is ridiculous. But Dwight Howard's case is not foreign. It's a regular thing that occurs specifically for professional athletes. I mean, come on, it's almost like a inside it's a running joke of these pro athletes, when you see a pro athlete that is steady, family man, married, one child, or maybe multiple, but if they have multiple, they're with that one wife or that one spouse, right? You have some leagues, and it's funny because maybe specific leagues have a different type, or basketball might have, okay, this is the league with a bunch of baby mamas in this drama, whatever, and likewise football wise, or likewise this, like, I mean, there was reality shows where you had basketball wives, then you had spinoffs, you had football wives. I think that didn't last too long. You had I think they did one for baseball as well too. So there's multiple shows that let me show you how the life of a this wife or that or this. I mean, Hollywood exes. I mean, it's just, well, that's not sports, but still, it's just it's ridiculous how, I don't know. It's just, that's all I can say is ridiculous stuff. But I will say this: Dwight Howard gets on my nerves sometimes, but I am on the side of Dwight in this case because he is sharing the fact that, hey, look, I did my part. I provided. Do not say I never provided for my child. I just, and why, look, he can be upset. He can, especially since he doesn't have to pay that specific amount anymore. Like, that is a lot, man. That is a lot of money. That is a lot of money. And so, hey, he's going on the world tour right now. He don't care. He's like, I am going on a tour, sharing my thoughts and reasons why this is ridiculous. All righty. All right, my friends, look, we're going to take a quick commercial break. But before we do that, I do have another supporter of the Arrington Gavin Show I want to shout out, and that is my good friend, Mr. Bernardo Johnson. He is the founder and owner of Bernardo's Men's Wear. That's right. Attention, gentlemen. It's time to elevate your wardrobe. At Bernardo's Menswear, they believe style isn't just about clothes, it's about making a statement. From tailored suits that fit like a dream to casual essentials that define effortless sophistication, Bernardo's has it all. Weddings, interviews, or a night on the town, they've got you covered. Be sure to visit Bernardo's Menswear today by shopping online at bernardosmenswear.com. Okay, that is www.bernardosmenswear.com, or you can check them out in person, located in Norfolk, Virginia. If you happen to be in the Hampton Roads, Virginia area, you can visit his store in the MacArthur Mall on the first floor in the heart of downtown Norfolk, and tell him Arrington sent you. Again, we want to thank Mr. Bernardo Johnson for being a proud supporter of the Arrington Gavin Show. Couldn't do it without you, buddy. So let's get it going. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll come back. We'll have more here on the Arrington Gavin Show. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Welcome back to the Arrington Gavin Show. I am your host, your friend, your homie, Arrington Gavin. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at the Arrington Gavin Show. Again, that is the Arrington Gavin Show on Instagram, as well as Blue Sky, as well as X, formerly known as Twitter, as well as Substack. That's right. I know I'm forgetting something. As well as on Substack. We have some great content on there, and it's a site where I can just vent off if there's something on my mind and I can't share it on the show because hey, a lot happens within an hour, so I'm like, well, let me go ahead and I got something to say. Let me go ahead and share this. Let me type away, and so yeah, Blue Sky, Instagram is probably one of our most popular ones, so please do me a favor, follow us on Instagram at the Arrington Gavin Show. And like I said, X, formerly known as Twitter, Blue Sky, Substack, you can find us on those platforms. All right, let's get going with our next story. This was, when I heard about this, I'm like, what now, y'all? Like, I mean, again, you try so hard to bridge the gap between the community and law enforcement, and then you have stories like this. Top NYPD officer resigns. Why, you ask? Says here, this reported by the Associated Press. Top-ranking NYPD officer abruptly resigns amid of sexual misconduct allegations. Now, if he was an innocent person, right? For somebody that is really, oh, this is nonsense. This is ridiculous. Why would this? If you were truly innocent, you wouldn't resign. That's just me. Now, I understand that those allegations, you just don't, at his position, you just don't want it to be a distraction to your squad, to anybody, to your family. You don't want it to get worse and worse and worse because they're really going to start, doing a prime investigation for it. But I just, and it was very quick. The resignation was very quick. Let me read you a little bit of this more in the contents, but it says here that the highest ranking uniform officer in New York Police Department has resigned amid allegations he demanded sex for a subordinate in exchange for opportunities to earn extra pay. Police Commissioner Jessica Titch accepted Chief of Department Jeffrey Madras' resignation recently, effective immediately, according to the department statement. Chief of Patrol John Chell will take over as interim chief department, and Philip Rivera will assume Chell's duties as the head of patrol division, the NYPD said. Now, it says here that later on in the week, Titch replaced the head of the Internal Affairs Bureau, which investigates alleged police misconduct, saying in a statement that the unity must always be dedicated to preserving integrity and rooting out corruption in all its forms. She appointed Edward Thompson as interim chief after Miguel Iglesias was relieved of his commands. Now, the NYPD obviously has declined to comment on the allegations against Matt. I think the last name is Madry. Yes, Madry. Other than to take it that it takes all allegations of misconduct seriously and will thoroughly investigate this matter. A lawyer of the accuser said the move was overdue. Here's my thing. This right here is just, before I read a little more of this article, it's sickening because stuff like this does exist. There is such thing as abuse of power. This has occurred, and it will forever still live in our society. This will forever be in our society, but it's up to to folks to, for one, speak out, and also for the professionals to investigate this properly so you can end this issue. And I'll be honest, it really irritates me more when it's a person of color, just because. And I'm a young old man, all right. I didn't live through the civil rights era, thank God, but I have witnessed discrimination, before. And when you see folks, especially people of color, that has, worked so hard, accomplished, and made it to a certain position where it's like, wow, this is inspiring. This is, keep this momentum going. You might not think you're a leader, but your examples do lead and help motivate the people coming coming up the up and coming people, up and coming figures. I'm losing my words right now. But the next up and coming, that's what I was trying to say. It's discussing the fact that you have folks that abuse their power, that maybe in the initial standpoint, they, hey, they had a passion and they really took their job serious. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, greed comes into play, or just, I don't know. It's an ongoing investigation. We will never know. Says here that attorney lawyer Eric Sanders quoted, "This should have been done a long time ago. This has been years in the making. This kind of behavior, this is not a shock for anyone who understands how things work in this department." Wow. Says here Epps filed complaint against the city with the Federal Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, claiming that Madrid engaged in quid pro quo sexual harassment by coercing her to perform unwanted sexual favors in exchange for overtime opportunities in the workplace. Here's another thing. This brings back to the harder jobs females have out there in the workplace. In all workplaces, they are still in 2025. This case happened in 2024, but it's an ongoing investigation into 2025. This is still going on to this day. Women have to fight 20 times harder. If you do me a favor, if you haven't seen the movie yet, the oh Lord, I want to get it wrong. It's on Netflix. It has Kerry Washington, and it's a Kerry Washington and Tyler Perry film, but Kerry Washington stars in the film, and it is called, what is it called? It is called The 688. The 688. And just do me a favor, check that movie out. Check that movie out. And there's more movies similar to that when women are truly just, they are no joke. They are no joke. I mean, they're badass. That's why I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it. They really are. They really know. They don't mess around. And I feel as though the public sometimes still doesn't give them their due diligence. They don't give them the proper respect that they go through in the workplace. But again, this is an ongoing investigation. We will keep you guys posted on about this case. It's unfortunate that this exists, especially in law enforcement too, where you go to them to help prevent issues like that. You know what I mean? Like when an officer does a criminal act, that's just that's another big issue, another story we can talk. But let me go ahead and digress from this story and move it on to another story going back to politics. I don't know if y'all have heard, but Tim Scott, Senator, U.S. Senator out of South Carolina, Tim Scott, recently accomplished a huge momentous goal, has a huge accomplishment to add to his resume, and that is, let me go ahead and pull up let me see if I can pull up the graphic for you all who are watching. I'll share about it for those listening right now, but give me 1 second. Let me pull up the graphic. Where is it? There we go. There we go. All righty. So, U.S. Senator Tim Scott, he's a former presidential candidate as well. He just accomplished a huge goal. He made history. He made history as he became the longest serving black senator in U.S. history. Not longest senator in the Republican Party. I mean, not longest a Republican senator, but the longest longest senator in U.S. history. Tim Scott, out of South Carolina. I was not just there not too long ago for the holidays. Beautiful state. I was visiting my in-laws. It's a state that is still in the South now. It still got some parts. It still got some parts, but it is a growing state. But it says here that Senator Tim Scott has become the longest serving black senator in U.S. history as the 119th congressional recently had begun some weeks ago. Senator Scott was appointed to the Senate in 2012 by then Governor Nikki Haley, also a former presidential candidate. I think she now does she has hosts a weekly show on Sirius XM. After former Senator Jim DeMint resigned. At the time, he was the first black Republican senator since 1978. Wow. And the first black Republican senator from the South since Reconstruction. I mean, that is a lot. Now, I know a lot of folks are about to, some of our listeners who are not fans of Tim Scott. I mean, you have some words that y'all probably, called him, and you have left comments on social media after hearing about this. But I will say this: look, I don't agree with his views with Tim Scott. Now, if I ever meet him in person, it would be an honor, just like any other political figure, because at the end of the day, they have accomplished a goal that not everybody can say, and he has made history. He's always a cheesing guy. He seems like a nice guy. Seems like he would be a dope guy to have a conversation with. Like I said, we would most likely not agree on anything, but that's okay. We probably will find a few things to agree on, but not a lot. Because my main thing, I definitely disagree with him, is his support of Donald Trump, but I'm not going to go because he's considered one of Trump's loyalists. Yet I don't think he's got a position on his cabinet or was ever nominated or considered. Anyway, I mean, not go there. But he has had a lot of thick skin because he has faced so many criticism. Again, he's a black Republican out of South Carolina, senator out of South Carolina, elected official, black Republican elected official out of South Carolina. He's also been really the first and one of the only black senators in the Senate. Like, come on, you know how much criticism he's probably faced from not just people from the opposing side, but his own community, the black community. All right, he's received some heat. It says here before Scott, Republican Senator Edward Brooke Mass, who held office from 1967 to 79, was the longest serving black senator. All right. This session, Scott will also serve as the black chair of Senate Standing Committee when he assumes the top spot on the Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs Committee. I'll read a quote from him. He says, "My goal is simple: make America work for Americans. As we get to work cleaning up the mess from the previous administration, I look forward to working with President Trump on his priorities, including paving a path for all Americans to have the necessary tools and resources to achieve their version of the American dream. We will unlock opportunity, strengthen our nation, and make America in a shining city on the hill again." Now, the descendants of enslaved Africans, Scott entered politics in 1994 when he decided to campaign for the Charleston County Council. When he was elected in 95, he was the first Black American elected to any office in South Carolina since 1902. Look, y'all gotta look at these stats. Come on now. Come on. I'm giving you stats now. Y'all gotta give the man more credit than just be, you need to give the man his credit. Because he gets backlash for, and see, this is stuff that I wasn't too familiar with. I wasn't aware of, like, his when he really got started, when he first got started in politics. I've always remembered him as the guy in Senate. So this is that's, so again, it's inspiring, because again, he had his haters, he has his critics, but that never stopped him. Scott continued to make history when in 2010 he became the first Black Republican from the Palmetto State to serve in the House since 1897. I mean, whew. And I will be honest. Tim Scott has been he has paved the way for a lot of Black Republicans in office. You got guys like Byron Donaldson out of Florida, congressman out of Florida, Wesley Hunt, congressman out of Texas. There was a gentleman who was the attorney general out of Kentucky, Republican, Black Republican. Oh Lord, there's another gentleman. I want to say, not Tennessee. I want to say Florida. I'm forgetting, because there's not too many. So that's why I was like, it's always good. I mean, you have there's a female who she's a radio host on a talk station out in Baltimore, but she ran for Congress multiple times. And she's never won, but again, inspiring, right? Tim Scott is a person that has paved the way for a lot of Black conservatives and Republicans. In that case, you do have to give the man his props. I'll say it again. I don't agree with his values. We might agree on some stuff, but I don't agree with majority of the things that he pushes. But I will give him his. I will give credit where credit is due. And I'm reading you, the stats, man, and that's it's quite impressive. Quite impressive. It says here, and I'm reading this article, by the way, by The Hill, and I got maybe like close to 5 minutes, almost, less than 6 minutes. Scott became a household name when he briefly launched a 2024 bid for the White House, but that soon suspended and became the stump for President Donald Trump's. And that's one thing, he looks as a guy that kisses the ring too much for Trump and probably other things, but he just, I'm not a fan of how he, him running for office, him running for president, to me was already a joke. He was a prime example of a guy that just was running to get a spot in the cabinet, to get closer, to get on the good side of the president, because he was the first guy to go on the campaign trail with Trump. Very first guy. Scott will serve alongside 4 other Republican senators this Congress. Democratic senators Raphael Warnock, Cory Booker out of New Jersey. Warnock, by the way, is out of Georgia. Angelia also Brooks out of Maryland. Lisa Blunt, Rochester out of Delaware. It is the largest group of Black senators serving together at one time, which is a beautiful thing. But again, there's only one Black Republican out here, and his name is Scott. Tim Scott. He probably said that too. And I think congrats to him, because if I'm not mistaken, I think he got engaged last year too, or got married. Excuse me, not even engaged, but got married last year. So it was quite an eventful year for him. He had his number one guy win the election. He got married. He's making history, still serving in the Senate. So hey, for that, I applaud you, Senator Tim Scott. But yeah, my friends, I'm looking at my time. Looks like we're gonna have to end it a little short. But what I will say is that stay tuned. That's all I can say, y'all, is stay tuned. The Arrington Gavin Show has so much great things in store for you. We're going to have some great shows, great interviews that will be coming your way. And hopefully you can, we're going to be growing our audience. Fingers crossed. Hopefully we're going to be growing our audience. We have some folks that have tuned into the program. They are fans of the program. They will love to partner with the program. And we gotta keep those prayer warriors going. You know what I mean? Like this is something I love to do, right? I have fun doing this. But when you start seeing folks that want to, help possibly invest in it and things like that, like I'm like, wow. And I'm not talking, it's not always invested with money, but I'm just saying investing in this program. I'm like, wow, this is awesome. And just, we're still in the rookie stages now. Don't get me wrong. We've done well over 200 episodes. But we want to keep this momentum going. The roller coaster we want to continue to just go on the rise. We want to continue to just go on the rise. And so, again, my friends, please do me a favor, share with a friend, share with family. For those who are not familiar with the show, the Arrington Gavin Show is an unbiased, independent grassroots program. We're available on all podcast platforms, whether that's iHeart, Spotify, Apple, you name it. You can find us anywhere. And we're gonna keep on growing, man. This is just the beginning. Do me a favor, my friends. Look, again, we drop new episodes Monday through Fridays. All right, Monday through Fridays. On all digital and streaming platforms. I've mentioned earlier, I'll say it again. YouTube, you can, for those who are watching, you see it at the ticker scrolling down at the screen. YouTube, Rumble, all right, all podcast platforms, all major podcast platforms. Just type in the Arrington Gavin Show. Also, shout out to our radio affiliate, WDJY 99.1 FM out of the Metro Atlanta area. We thank you so much for partnering with the program, and we hope that, hey, look, for those listening on podcasts, man, we want to work with you. We want to keep this going on in the masses. So I truly appreciate my friends. Look, I will talk to you soon. As always, stay safe. Do great things out there. Peace and blessings to you. I will talk to y'all soon. So be sure to continue to tune into the Arrington Gavin Show. Monday through Fridays. Available on all digital and streaming platforms. Follow us on Instagram at the Arrington Gavin Show. ARRINGTON and then GAVIN Show. My friends, I'm out.